General Denis Thompson. He's a former NATO task force commander. Good morning to you. I'm glad that you are joining us now. The timing is perfect. Can you give us your take on what we just heard from President Trump? He was doubling down on his message to Iran for an unconditional surrender. At the same time, he said it's not too late for some sort of diplomatic negotiation, it sounded like. So what do you make of that? Can both things be happening at the same time?
Well, I think it's important to cut through all the rhetoric and get to the aim of what this operation is all about. And that's basically to remove the nuclear threat posed by Iran to Israel and frankly, to the region. So that's really what he's talking about, although he tends to use more colorful language than I do. And they want to do that through kinetic means, and we've seen a lot of that lately, perhaps through regime change, if they can make that happen from the air, or through, I would suggest, another inspection, a new, more robust inspection regime, or a combination of those three things. So Mr. Trump did make one important slip, perhaps. He said at one point in this press conference that we have been successful. I found that rather interesting, since the United States is not involved physically, although there are no doubt passing lots of intelligence to the Israelis.
Well, he also said, I believe it was yesterday, perhaps it was the day before, we control the airspace now. So he's not saying this is Israel. He is making it sound as though the U.S. is already involved somewhat. And I want to know what you think the U.S. options are now. What is the president weighing when it comes to U.S. involvement?
They'll continue to be involved in the fashion that they are. I think most people know there are a lot of U.S. assets in the region. The Fifth Fleet is based in Bahrain, which is a major U.S. fleet. The CENTCOM headquarters, it's just Central Command, the major U.S. combatant command in the region, is based in Qatar. They have units across Iraq and, of course, in the UAE. So I think it's somewhere in the vicinity of 20,000 U.S. servicemen, and they have reportedly moved a number of assets into Europe in order to be in a position to give the president options if he were to take a more, put his hand in the goo, if you will. And that includes refueling aircraft, up to 30 refueling aircraft, which kind of flags the idea that they're ready to do deep strikes inside of Iran if the president gives them the go. The one weapon that the Israelis don't have is the so-called massive ordnance penetrator, which is the one necessary to go after the only target Israel has yet to touch, and that is Fordow, where there are more uranium enrichment going on underneath the mountain and underneath feet and feet of concrete.
All right, I got to get through a couple questions. The president just said that Iran is defenseless. Do you agree?
Yes. Iran's defenseless because their surface-to-air missile system was aged. They never received from Russia, even though they've been providing Russia with lots of arms for their war, they never received the so-called S-400, which is the gold standard surface-to-air missile battery. And so Israel took out up to 40 surface-to-air missile systems on the first night and up to 70 to this point in the conflict. And that's according to the Institute for the Study of War. That means that they have air superiority over top of Iran, and they can operate with impunity.
There is a reason why Israel has not struck Iran in the past. We heard today, for example, the German chancellor saying Israel is doing the world's dirty work. What is that reason? I mean, why now?
Well, I think it's just a question of a window of opportunity. They always had to deal with the proxies. So there were the Hezbollah, obviously, in Lebanon, to a lesser extent Hamas, and the Houthis in Yemen, who could always threaten Israel with, and the Syrian regime as well. So they had lots of bad neighbors who have now all been kneecapped, if you will, or at least they've been set to the side and degraded sufficiently that now Israel can address the root of their problem, which is Iran. And that's why now that, and plus the fact that last Wednesday, the International Atomic Energy Agency for the first time said that Iran had failed to meet their obligations under the Non-Proliferation Treaty. So they had all the green lights they needed from a policy perspective.
And last thought from you, please. We heard from President Trump that Vladimir Putin told Trump that he would be willing to help mediate the conflict. What would Mr. Putin add? to this?
Nothing. Mr. Putin should stay in his own lane. Mr. Trump, for once, did the exact right thing by telling him that sort out your own backyard. Let me deal with Iran, with the other regional powers.
Major General Denis Thompson, thank you so much. As always, appreciate your analysis and time with us.